Let me be straight with you right now. Today is not a regular day. I know that might sound like a stretch, but I mean it. March 13th is when something huge unfolds in the sky. Something that's going to move through certain people's lives in a way they simply won't be able to dismiss. Here's what's going on. Mars, the planet of drive, action, and raw willpower, is meeting the North Node of Destiny in an exact conjunction. And this isn't unfolding in just any sign. It's unfolding in Pisces, the most mystical, intuitive, deeply spiritual sign in all of the Zodiac. When I first dug into this transit, it gave me actual chills. This is the type of cosmic event astrologers have described for centuries as a karmic accelerator. Some of you watching already feel it. Maybe there's been this low hum of restlessness lately, like pressure is quietly building. Or maybe you've been hit with sudden flashes of insight about where your life needs to go. If that sounds like you, keep watching. There's a very real reason that's happening, and I'll walk you through exactly what it means later on. But first, I want to explain what makes this alignment hit so differently. Because while everyone will feel this shift in some way, 3 zodiac signs are about to receive what I can only call a fated opportunity, a cosmic shove. A moment when the universe stops nudging and starts insisting that you show up for your actual purpose. This isn't just another transit moving through. This is destiny reaching out. So here's something about the North Node that most people don't really grasp. It's not a planet. It's a mathematical point in space. The place where the moon's orbit intersects the sun's path. Because of its connection to eclipses, ancient astrologers treated it as a powerful marker of fate. This is literally where your soul's mission lives inside your chart. The North Node points to where you're meant to be heading in this life. It represents the evolution your soul is hungry for. And it's not always a comfortable pull. It asks you to leave behind the familiar and move into territory you haven't yet claimed. Right now, the North Node sits in Pisces. On a collective level, that means humanity is being steered away from rigid plans, obsessive control, and the need for proof before trusting anything. We're being invited to let go, to follow intuition over logic, to surrender instead of grip. Does that land with something you've been feeling? But here's where the intensity kicks in. Today, Mars, the warrior planet, the planet of action and courage and sometimes conflict, forms an exact conjunction with that North Node at 8 degrees and 23 minutes of Pisces. When Mars touches the destiny point, things move fast. Astrologers call this a karmic accelerator. The universe reaches in and physically propels you toward your purpose. The fated opportunity doesn't show up quietly. It comes with urgency, with heat, with a gut-level feeling that if you don't move now, the window shuts. The spiritual warrior. Why Mars in Pisces rewrites the rules. Here's something that was a real turning point for me when I was studying this transit. Mars is not comfortable in Pisces by nature. Mars is fire, sharp, direct, built for action. But Pisces is water, boundless, the dissolution of the self. The ocean where everything blends together. When you drop the blade of Mars into those infinite waters, its usual strategies stop working. You can't muscle your way through. You can't bulldoze what's in front of you. The energy calls for an entirely different approach, and I think that's where the real magic lives. Because the fated action required by this Mars-North Node conjunction isn't about conquering anything. It's about the spiritual warrior. It's about finding the courage to surrender, to press forward without forcing the result, to trust an invisible current even when you have no idea where it leads. I believe this transit is asking you to act decisively, toward compassion, toward openness, toward breaking down the walls fear has helped you build. I know that sounds completely backwards for warrior energy, but that's the whole point. The highest expression of strength right now isn't fighting, it's letting go. And here's what I really want to be clear about. There's a fine line between impulse and intuition, especially inside Pisces energy. Impulse is reactive. You feel it as tightness in your body. It's anxiety-driven. It's the ego trying to dodge discomfort. Intuition arrives with quiet certainty. A stillness underneath, even when the directive itself feels terrifying. So if you're feeling pulled to make a big move in the next few days, check in with your body. If it feels frantic, if you're white-knuckling it, that's probably impulse. If it feels calm but scary, if there's a deep clarity you can't quite explain with logic, that's your North Node calling. The jockey and the horse. What this degree is really showing us. Okay, this is where it gets very specific, and honestly, this detail hit me hard. Every single degree of the Zodiac carries what's called a Sabian symbol, a channeled image that reveals the deeper esoteric meaning of that exact point in the sky. The Mars-North Node conjunction is occurring at the 9th degree of Pisces. The Sabian symbol for Pisces 9 is a jockey spurs his horse, intent on outdistancing his rivals. Now, on the surface, that seems like a total contradiction to everything Pisces represents, right? Pisces is about unified consciousness, about dissolving competition, about spiritual transcendence. But here's this intensely competitive image, a jockey pushing his horse hard to win the race. Here's what I think it means. The horse is your physical body, your life force. The jockey is your conscious will, that Mars energy. The race itself is your soul's evolutionary timeline. And what this symbol is telling us is that while the goal has to be spiritual, while the destination has to align with Pisces values like compassion and intuition, the method of getting there requires absolute focused determination. This degree is saying you can't meet this fated opportunity with passivity. You can't just drift and hope things fall into place. You have to pull out everything you've got. You have to concentrate every ounce of energy with total intention. You have to climb into the saddle of your own destiny and push yourself forward through the fog. It's a call to be a spiritual champion, to use that Mars drive not to overpower others, but to aggressively outrun the stagnant, fearful parts of yourself that want to keep you stuck. The 3 signs standing at destiny's door. All right, here's what you've been waiting for. While this transit touches everyone in some way, there are 3 zodiac signs positioned to receive a truly life-changing opportunity. And if you're one of these signs, sun, moon, or rising, pay close attention. The universe is opening a door for you, but it won't stay open forever. Pisces. You're being reborn, and everyone's about to see it. If you're a Pisces, I really need you to understand what's happening right now. This Mars-North Node conjunction is landing directly in your first house. The house of identity, physical presence, and outward personality. This is you. This is your body. This is how the world perceives you. And what's unfolding is nothing short of a complete rebirth. You've spent so much of your life as the background character, haven't you? The empath, the helper, the one who soaks up everyone else's emotions and carries their weight. You're used to staying invisible, to shrinking yourself so others feel at ease. But that version of you is dying today. And honestly, I think it's time. The fated opportunity arriving for Pisces is the chance to step fully into your power without apology. To claim your space, to be seen, to be bold, to finally put yourself first without drowning in guilt over it. Mars entered your sign on March 2nd and already kicked off this process. You may have felt a sudden surge of energy, a magnetic quality you hadn't sensed in a long time. And now with Mars hitting the North Node directly in your sign, the universe is physically pushing you into the spotlight. Here's what I think this looks like in practice. You might receive an opportunity to build something entirely your own, a creative project, a business, a completely different direction. Or maybe it's about finally speaking up in a relationship or situation where you've been letting yourself disappear. Maybe it's a decision about your body, your health, your physical presence in the world. And because Mercury is retrograde right now and will conjoin Mars on the 15th, I believe this opportunity might involve revisiting something from your past, a dream you shelved, an identity you let go of, a version of yourself you thought was gone. But here's the critical part. You have to act. You have to embody that jockey symbol. You can't wait for permission. You can't spend weeks overthinking whether you're ready. The cosmic timing is now. And here's the beautiful part I really want you to hold on to. Jupiter, your ruling planet, just stationed direct in Cancer on the 10th, and it's going to trine Mars on the 21st. What that means is that the bold, terrifying leap you take today, the universe is going to catch you. It's going to expand what you create. It's going to reward your courage with luck, with emotional fulfillment, with this deep knowing that you're finally on the right path. Virgo, surrender control, let love in. Okay, Virgo, we need to talk. Because while Pisces is experiencing this rebirth of self, you're moving through something equally profound, just in the opposite direction. The Mars North Node conjunction is activating your 7th house, the house of partnerships, committed relationships, marriage, and contracts with other people. And I know that might feel unsettling because the 7th house is where you come face to face with the other. It's where someone else gets let into your perfectly organized world. Here's what I think is really happening. You've been hosting the South Node for over a year now, and the South Node represents what you need to release. For you, that's been about letting go of the need for total control. The perfectionism, the overanalyzing, the compulsion to have every single detail mapped out before you take a step. The lunar eclipse in your sign on March 3rd already began clearing this out. It emptied the vessel, and now the North Node in Pisces is delivering the gift. But the gift requires vulnerability. The fated opportunity arriving for Virgo is relational. Someone may be entering your life, or someone already in it is about to become infinitely more significant. And this isn't a relationship you can logic your way through. This isn't about compatibility checklists or making sure everything lines up practically. This is about taking a leap of faith into emotional surrender, into trusting someone even when you can't control where it goes, into letting yourself be seen in all your messy, imperfect humanity. And I know that's terrifying for you. I really do. Your instinct is to protect yourself by staying analytical, by keeping a safe distance, by never completely lowering your guard. But the universe is asking you to put down the spreadsheet, to stop managing your heart, to risk making a mistake in exchange for being fully present. Now, this could also show up as the opposite. If you're in a partnership that's fundamentally out of alignment with your soul's mission, Mars carries a blade. And sometimes the fated action is severance, a decisive, clean cut that removes what's blocking your growth. Either way, the theme is the same. You're being asked to trust something bigger than your analytical mind, to move from the head into the heart. And with Jupiter going direct in your 11th house of community and future hopes, I truly believe this is about finding spiritual connection and devotion, not just practical partnership. Gemini, your public calling is here. Step into the spotlight. All right, Gemini. If you've been feeling this wild pressure lately, like the whole world is waiting on you to make a move, there's a reason for that. The Mars North Node conjunction is landing at the very top of your chart, your 10th house, the house of career, public reputation, legacy, and authority. This is the most visible part of your entire chart. And Mars hitting the destiny point here, that's not subtle. That's the universe shoving you directly onto the public stage. Here's what I think is going on. You've probably been stuck in analysis paralysis for a while. Every possible career direction looks interesting. Every option has something going for it, but nothing feels like the absolute certain choice. So you've been waiting, collecting more information, weighing more possibilities, staying in motion without actually moving forward. And the universe is done waiting. The fated opportunity arriving for Gemini is a career or public mission that's demanding you stop thinking and start doing. You might get a sudden promotion, a leadership role you didn't see coming, a chance to step into authority during a crisis, or maybe it's the realization that the path you've been avoiding, the one that feels too big, too exposed, too visible, is actually the one you're meant for. What makes this so powerful for you is that Gemini naturally wants to do everything. You want to keep all options open. You want to run multiple races at once. But the Sabian symbol of the jockey is incredibly relevant here. You have to focus. You have to pick one race and pour everything into it. And I know that feels uncomfortable. I know it feels like a kind of loss. But here's the thing. By spreading your energy in every direction, you've been stopping yourself from actually breaking through. The fated action required right now is singular focus, blocking out the noise around you and committing to one direction with absolute determination. Because Mars demands autonomy. The North Node dictates destiny. Combined in your 10th house, you're being called to lead, not follow. To step boldly into visibility, to build confidence through the act of forward motion, rather than waiting for total clarity before you move. And here's what I really want you to trust. The path will show itself as you walk it. You don't need all the answers before you begin. You just need to take the first step with courage. And when you do, the universe is going to meet you there. The days ahead, integration, and cosmic reward. So here's something really important I don't want you to miss. The energy of March 13th doesn't just spike and vanish. This is setting a trajectory for your entire year. Mercury retrograde is complicating things in a genuinely interesting way. 2 days after the Mars North Node conjunction, Mercury is going to retrograde back and conjoin Mars again on the 15th. What that means is that the bold action you take today needs to be followed by reflection, by internal processing, by revisiting and refining. So if you say something intense, if you make a big decision, if you take a leap, give yourself permission to review it, to talk it through, to clarify and adjust as you go. Mercury stations direct on the 20th, and that's when your mind finally catches up with your soul's new direction. But here's the part that honestly gives me so much hope. On March 21st, Mars makes an exact trine to Jupiter. And in astrology, a trine between planets in water signs is like an uninterrupted flow of spiritual and emotional support. This is the cosmic reward. This is the universe saying, you took the leap. You trusted. You acted with courage even when you couldn't see the full picture. And now I'm going to validate that choice. You'll feel it as rising confidence, as emotional security, as this deep sense that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Final thoughts. Trust the fog. Okay, I want to leave you with this. Today is not for the faint of heart. This Mars-Destiny collision requires real courage. It requires you to act decisively without demanding proof of what comes next. It requires you to trust the invisible current even when you can't see the shore. For Pisces, it's about claiming yourself without apology. For Virgo, it's about surrendering to vulnerable connection. For Gemini, it's about stepping into your public mission with focused determination. But for all of us, it's about recognizing that sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is take bold, decisive action. The fog of Pisces doesn't lift just because you want it to. You have to move through it anyway. You have to spur the horse forward even when you can't see the finish line. And that's terrifying. I know. But it's also the exact test of the spiritual warrior, to shed the armor that no longer serves you and trust that the universe has your back. All right, if you've stayed with me this far, thank you so much for being here. That genuinely means everything to me. If this connected with you and you want more astrology content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And please come back after March 13th and tell me what unfolded for you. I truly want to hear what you experienced. Drop it in the comments below. We're all riding this cosmic wave together. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and I'll see you soon.